Welcome to the definitive guide to Facebook's Performance 5. Now, this looks an awful lot like the Power 5, and to be fair, most of it is fairly remedial, and we've been talking about the core elements of this stuff here on this channel since its inception. These are things that hopefully aren't new, but if they are new, that's amazing, because this is a great opportunity for you to go from a place of stress to a place of success, for you to reduce your amount of workload and increase the amount of scale and opportunity that you have. We're going to cover, first off, 3 big things that have been remedial. We've been talking about them for many years, and if you're not doing it, now is a great time to get started. And we're going to close out with 2 other things that we haven't necessarily directly addressed here, but we absolutely should, including one thing that's going to turn all those Facebook marketing expert calls that annoy the hell out of you into giant checks from Facebook for you to spend their money to scale your account, to show them what's working and what isn't. And I highly recommend you do it, because it'll also tremendously help your understanding what Facebook's doing for your entire environment. That being said, I know you can be literally anywhere in the world right now, and you've chosen to be here, and I want to say, first off, for that, thank you. I'm going to try to respect your time and make sure that we use this time that we have together to be as helpful as possible. If you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe, hit like, drop a comment down below letting me know the parts of the Power 5, or in this case now the Performance 5, that you really enjoy, and any questions you might have. Also, go ahead and read the description. There's a great long article in there, and you'll also find links to other resources like the Facebook Ads MBA program, which is my flagship training for CMO and business development, how I'm taking businesses that are no longer startup but in scale up to exit, how we make that happen. You can also sign up for the newsletter, which is the shape of Disrupt to Come, and don't miss out on brand new opportunities like brand new courses from Disrupt to School and a lot of other great interviews and other resources. With that being said, let's get to it. So, Performance 5 is out. It's officially public. It's been public for a while. Now, some of us have been using these principles for many years. I was part of the Facebook Disruptor group that initially put together what was called the Power 5, which was the big change when Facebook became an optimized CPM first environment, which basically made things like retargeting and interest groups and ABO completely obsolete, and really paved the way for the new wave of success that everybody saw starting in 2018, 19, and 20. And why now Facebook is honestly hasn't been this easy to make money and this low touch since maybe 2015, 2016. Like, it is easier to scale a business on Facebook today than it may have ever been in your entire career. And I've been doing this for 10 years, and it's extremely exciting. That being said, what are these 3 things that we want to get started with? The first one, basic account simplification. Let me do a bar none statement. If you are trying to solve a problem by making things more complicated, you're doing it the wrong way. I sadly still see people preach having 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 campaigns inside the Facebook ad account. This is never a good idea. I mean, I can think of the use cases where more than 5 campaigns, where we weren't talking about Facebook case studies they were funding, which we'll get to later in a minute, where those weren't the case, where that had any actual merit. I still see a lot of folks talking about that we should be doing this. We should still be using audiences like interest groups and lookalikes and retargeting and ABO. And to be honest, since 2018, we shouldn't have been. Performance 5 is a doubling down on why we shouldn't. And something we're going to touch on a little bit later also will let us prove that these things are a bad idea. So remember, account simplification. Keep it simple, keep it steady. That's how you scale. The point of Facebook and all growth and acquisition marketing is primarily to amplify the flow and the volume and the quality of business coming into your funnel and business model. Figure out what the best investment for you to be able to, what is the best type of attention that you are going to be able to monetize with confidence? And then how do we amplify that so that we can make the most amount of money with the fewest moving parts, so that everything that happens after the click becomes much easier to do? Are you promoting 5 products? Why? Do you have 14 different audiences going? Why? Now you might say, well, because I get a better performance and all this stuff. how many different types of customers and how many different customer journeys and how many different types of products are you having to test landing pages for, creatives for, email flows for? What about inventory control? What about customer service? What about all of these other things that add cost? Just because the ROAS on Facebook is good doesn't mean it's a good idea for your business. And I can't tell you how many times I see people chasing this complication and short money route to getting the best ROAS so good that they go out of business because they forgot about cash flow and business development. And ultimately that means that they might make a buttload in Q4 and close up shop by February. Because ultimately you can be the best hunter in the world, but if you don't know how to farm, any time where you go 3 or 4 days without killing something, you're dead. That's not good. We've moved beyond that. You don't have to do that in Facebook anymore because ultimately Facebook has moved on from being a PPC platform that was making interest groups to hopefully grab Google advertisers by knocking off affinity models and affinity audiences. And we moved past act-alike audiences with Facebook's lookalike. We don't need any of that anymore because every ad is making its own audience, and ultimately Facebook's machine learning builds on every penny that we spend. So the idea of having an overly complicated campaign is basically saying, how much wasteful spend can I afford because my performance is good today and I don't care about being successful tomorrow. Other things we have in here is CAPI. If you don't have conversions API attached, that's tragic. You should get it done. If you don't know how to do it, pay somebody to do it. You need to make sure that you are passing back the highest quality and highest volume information to the system as you possibly can, because Facebook is ultimately a machine learning platform. Every penny you spend on it makes the machine smarter. It's making decisions for you on a regular basis and doing the work that you tell it to do. Remember, Facebook is your employee. The ads manager is a middle management employee that you've trained. If you have to micromanage that ads manager and ultimately try to control everything that happened, at best, you are looking at data that you already know you can't trust, that is not up to date, that is incomplete, to make predictions on the future based on data points from the past in audiences that change constantly and ultimately make everything that you do after the click far more difficult. That's a terrible way. No place in business, when you actually line it up, that makes zero sense for anything that you would ever do in the real world. Why are you doing it on Facebook? And part of that is making sure that the data that Facebook does see is as strong as possible. That is the conversions API. That is CAPI. We've been preaching that since 2018. You absolutely need to get that installed. And I highly recommend not only do you have CAPI, but do offline conversions as well. Upload as much information as you can. Get the data set inside the platform to be as actionable as possible. Get it as much stuff. If you're doing lead gen, don't just pass back that a lead occurred. Pass back that a lead occurred. Oh, they opened up their email. Oh, they took a phone call. Oh, they booked a booking call. Oh, they showed up to that call. Oh, they bought in. Oh, they got a subscription. Pass all that information back because those are all very valuable things for us to make decisions on. And the machine can use all of that information. If you're running it and you're saying, well, Facebook's only seeing some purchases and not seeing others, remember, Facebook is seeing everything that you send them. If they're not seeing it, it's because you're not sending it to them. Also, they're probably not going to be able to show you everything because of privacy concerns, but you can go to the event match rate score inside of Facebook and make sure that it's as high as possible. I can tell you how many businesses I see struggle with their event match rate is like 40, 50%. If it's not at least an 80 or a 90, you're doing something tragically wrong. And that's a very big problem. Part of the simplistic ad account and CAPI is the learning phase. Now, we've had a lot of debate over the learning phase over many, many years. If you know my opinion about it, it's that basically you should respect it outright. And back in the day, when you would get your account audited by Facebook, they would give you a score. If you are over 20% in the learning phase, that's a pretty big liability. Now, what does this actually mean for you? The learning phase is Facebook's way of saying, do we have statistical significance to deliver a consistent result with the assets that we have? If the answer is no, then that ad set is in learning. How much spent, what percentage of your daily budget is being spent to try to leverage assets that Facebook doesn't have confidence on delivering you a consistent result? especially if Facebook's entire value to your business is the amplification of the volume and quality of a consistent type of user to deliver a business result that you are planning for weeks and months and years ahead on the results of. Like, if you can't consistently control that information, then it's going to be bad for you. The more spend you have in the learning phase, the worse off you are. That's a very general statement, and it holds true about 90% of the time. There are obviously exceptions to the rule, short-term sales, all sorts of other stuff. But at the end of the day, understand that the percentage of money that you're currently spending that's in the learning phase is the percentage of money that you are playing the lottery with. That's not good for business. The other side of this is just creative diversity. Facebook has been saying this for years. I've been preaching to this for years. And I don't see any reason why folks still assume that, well, UGC works well for us. We're just going to bunch of UGC. Great. Who are you targeting? Only people that open that UGC content. What if I have my sound off? What if I don't watch videos? If I only want to look at the images, you'll never target me. What if you're only using images? What if I want to watch the video? The point is, your ads are creating bespoke audiences for themselves. And you're going to hear a lot of the experts pontificate on why the diversity matters. And they should be appealing to different people, and that makes sense. But really the reason is because every ad has an estimated action rate based on who that ad appeals to, based on its own bespoke audience. If the ads that you have an extremely high overlap of that bespoke audience, it's going to be very efficient, but unable to reach any new people. And if they're all wildly different, you might reach a whole ton of people at a very low efficiency. Now, if you have any questions on that stuff, please ask, reply below, let me know what it is, tell your friends about this stuff, and sign up for the newsletter because I think it's going to be really, really helpful for you.